Well, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Barry Schulhofer, and I am the moderator of today's panel. Want to welcome you to our monthly mastermind. And today's conversation is with Cody Ford, Mike Hillary, and some others. Um, and it concerns MegaCamp and all the things that we picked up. As you know, we had MegaCamp a couple weeks ago. Our market center did very, very well. We had I think just over 50% participation,
That's
or right at
crazy.
50% participation in MegaCamp, and the opportunity to discuss what we learned, um, and just have an honest conversation over the next few minutes about MegaCamp. So I'm going to start it off. Mike, I'm going to ask you a question first, bud.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
what did you think of the format, and do you think that the minimal charge to entry was a benefit to get to get people to Mega Camp that wouldn't normally get to go?
I mean, normally, right, we're all booking flights, trying to get a hotel and, trying to get a spot at the Iron Cactus for lunch, right?
Right.
But normally it's like 3,000, 4,000 people who go to this. This year, with, it being virtual, we had over 30,000 people attend. So I think this was huge. This was our way to like have a cultural event where we could all like feel like we got together, but do it from home. It
Yeah.
was a safe way to do it. Like that, the chats in every one of the like the breakout rooms, everything I was looking at, like those chats were just going da 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 da. And so
Yeah, I couldn't
everybody
keep
was
up.
pouring in. Yeah,
I
it was
I couldn't
impossible.
keep up. So, Cody, what about you, bud? What did you think of the format? I mean, this was your first one, right?
Yes, this is my. I've been involved in real estate for over 6 years now, but this is my first year as a licensed agent attending Mega Camp.
I don't know. I'm going to see it.
What did you think of the cost? Did that seem expensive to you, or was that right in a good window for what you got out of it? Was it a good value for the dollar?
Yeah, definitely. I agree with the value of that I got out of it. A lot of good things coming from the admin side, just attending. Not really going into depth in the real estate side of the Mega Camp, just kind of following along with admin type background deals. Definitely a good value for the dollar for sure.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I'm going to play panelist today as well. And attending it, usually it's very expensive, and you're fighting to get folks there and get involved. But at that, 70, 80, 100, $120, you just
Mm-hmm.
couldn't beat it for 3 days of sitting. I know it was painful sitting on Zoom and watching presentations, but they did an outstanding format that allowed a lot of people to participate. And I really appreciated that. I'm kind of deep down hoping that's going to be a version that's available in the future, whether it's online, or if it's a hybrid where we have people both in place and been able to
Mm-hmm.
watch online as well.
Yeah, the demand is definitely there. I know KWU is talking about how do we kind of do this same thing for family reunion. Do
Yeah.
we have,
Mm-hmm.
if it has to be all virtual, we can pull that off now. We know that. But if we can have the in person and have a virtual piece to it, they're going to look to see how that's going to work.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if it were like a 2-day event, that's online, I think that was comfortable for people. I really do. That couple of days was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I think the one thing that we missed was the networking and hanging out after and before, doing the bars and restaurants and that kind of stuff. But, based on the situation in the world today, I completely understand that.
Well, and see, this is the part about, once you're involved at that kind of level for a while, you start to form these groups that you interact with. So,
Yeah.
like, even after like each day, we had like our own little like Zoom happy hour groups with a lot of the different,
Yeah.
I guess KW clicks I've been running with.
I
So,
was in the KW land after hours. So yeah.
right. It was like, oh, hey, I know some of these guys.
Yeah. I do think, some of the interaction, the productivity coaching group within the market center here has a group me account, and that thing was blown up because of us just communicating back and forth and what we were seeing, what we were learning, what we were hearing, and that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we made it a team bonding event for Gary's first initial speech, we all hung out at Caleb's and watched it on the big screen, and we all kind of took it in together instead of being separate. And we time blocked all day, and we spent the entire day doing it as a team, and we were able to collaborate at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Hey, speaking of Gary's speech, Cody, what was your biggest takeaway?
I would have to say when he went into depth about the COVID take on it, when he talked about only 3% of the population is 18 to 24, and 3% of the buying population
Right.
is that 18 to 24 years old, and 80% of those people are also furloughed. So that was definitely a big take on me, because you can also see the amazing jumps that teams have had. And I've only been with Davis for almost 2 months now. And, being with my previous team at STL, we had record-breaking months. We had 15 listings in a month, and we beat that before our date that we set for one another. And just seeing the numbers rise from when COVID was prime time back in March, April, and seeing numbers up was just completely shocking to me. And I didn't expect it, because I was inside sales. So I just called, set the appointments, and went on throughout my day. And but yeah, seeing the numbers jump and seeing the record-breaking months for teams, and for teams who didn't expect to have record-breaking months to take off. And now we have top agents all around the world that we're a completely different world now.
Yeah. Mike, what'd you take out of it?
I've always kind of been a bit of a business nerd, so it was really interesting to see how Gary really logically broke down what's a very emotional situation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is going to take several years to unwind. Like, don't expect a complete recovery in 2021, 22, 23, or 24, right? We don't know exactly how this plays out, because we haven't gone from, what was it, 3.5% unemployment to 14 in a span of 3 months before. That didn't even happen with the Great Recession, the Great Depression. Mm-hmm. We're in uncharted territory. Luckily, the people who are buying houses have been the least affected. And so we've been able to, make hay while the sun shines. But, pay attention, that wave is going to crash on shore at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's going to come sooner than later. And I got that same type of takeaway, Mike. This is not just a flash. The pandemic's not just here and then gone. We're going to see the effects for years to come. And to listen to some of the agents' comments, and to watch those comments in the chat box was interesting, right? And when you had those breakouts, and some of the feedback that I saw from other agents about Gary's speech, and the fact that this pandemic's, or the effects of this pandemic lasting years, it was eye-opening. I think business models are changing.
Absolutely.
Changing very quickly.
And they're changing to digitally based, physically enhanced when necessary.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure this comes up later on the question list, but remember, Google said, as safe as you may feel right now, there's still going to be a third of the population who isn't going to want to have any physical interaction until they feel completely safe.
Yeah. Actually, let's bring that up. Mike, I'm going to let you talk about that for a minute. What are your thoughts on that, bud?
So this has just been the spark that just ignited a trend that was already in progress, right? We just gave it a dynamite stick. So people have already been moving towards digitally based business models. With real estate, we didn't have that kind of disruptive event, right? But we still have people who relocate from wherever, especially you guys having Scott Air Force Base nearby, with inventory really tight. Even if that was before, they were buying houses sight unseen. They weren't going in and seeing exactly what it was. They were counting on their local real estate expert for that. So the only difference is the tool has changed, right? We can now film everything we got with this. And so being digitally based, physically enhanced, means having your processes, your models, and your systems in a place where it can scale if you're not physically able to be there. And I think that's the part that I saw got hammered home across multiple panels, the Google and Facebook conversations, And especially with like Josh and Jason were talking about with the new features coming out.
Right. Yeah. So you bring that point up. Um, Josh team introduced a number of new items into command. Um, Give me some thoughts on those, Cody.
So I dove into command a little bit back March before everything rolled out, and to see what Josh team done to what they just rolled out again with the new roles and features for different teams, and not having one person take care of everything. One person has a role, but they're always in communication. I thought that was a huge feature of command, and that was the biggest thing that I got out of what they've added to it. But yeah, definitely adding the roles to the to command for different teams and still being communication on how things work with transactions is pretty huge.
Yeah, Mike, you're the regional technology guy. I mean,
Yeah, this is
just
my bread and butter.
this is your
right?
bread and butter, man. This is probably going to be a big chunk. Um, so talk to me. What do you think?
This is setting the foundation for teams who want to operate out of one single platform to actually be able to do it. Before, frankly, it was a collection of loosely connected individual silo profiles, right? It's like, Cody, if you were on my team and we had Barry as the contact, we weren't seeing the same activity. We weren't seeing the same stuff.
Yep.
Now we're all sitting at the same digital table with, family style sides and family style main dish. And we're all there able to communicate together. What we got to understand here is this is a fundamental change to how the platform works for a team of 2 or more people, right? What you have been doing in the past is going to look totally different. And so, it really comes down to learning what the new features are, understanding, okay, what are these different permission sets? What does enhanced and unlimited mean? And how does that help me? What I think happens the most here is a lot of businesses, their systems just got exposed. And now they have a chance to really use the fall cleanup period, right? Because this is when everybody cleans up their database to get ready for, their Christmas card list, their Thanksgiving pie and touches or whatever. This is your chance to really kind of pour the new foundation for you to be able to scale. I'm working with a team up here around the Chicago area with 21 different people on the team. They had not been in command up until this point. This change, we talked for an hour and a half on Thursday on how we're going to get everybody in by the end of the year. This is the system that the big hitters have been looking for. The best part is, because it works for a team that size, it'll work for any of us.
Well, and I was going to ask you that too, Mike. The big changes that we saw were team based, primarily. Do you see or are you seeing big changes coming to command for the solo agent?
You'll see updates as far as some of the functionality as a benefit of what they've been working on from the teams. To be honest, I think command has been there as an operational environment for a solo agent doing up to 50 deals on their own. They've been able to operate everything they need to as far as leads, listings, and leverage within that platform. The trouble is, the trouble is a lot of solo agents don't actually have systems in place. So when they're faced with a system or when they're faced with a platform like Command, where you have to actually kind of have a system to know how to use it, they get stuck. And that's a lot of what I do is I help people get unstuck.
Yeah, I agree. We just, a couple, 3 agents and I last week sat down and started documenting processes and checklists and things of that nature, just because we do get overwhelmed very quickly.
Yeah.
If you don't have those systems in place, which is, that's what Cody's specialty is, right, Cody?
That's all right. That's all right. Absolutely. Getting that system in place and keeping it going.
Yeah. Hey, so let me ask this question, and we can circle back to this, because I think there's going to be some, when we open this up, and there's going to be some questions about command, especially with Mike online today. You have an opportunity to ask those hard-hitting questions.
Yeah.
But what's an example of something you learned that you're now going to use in your business? Something that you can implement today.
I said we'd have to write some hella deals today.
From day one, the
The
crazy thing is this isn't even technology related, is I realized I had not been in a VIP level relationship with my VIPs, right? Like I need to make sure I am tracking how often I am talking with these people, whether it's, on the personal side or the business side. So right away, I started scheduling one-on-ones with like my top 20, just like to check in 5 to 10 minutes a week. Like, hey, how's it going? Right? Because these are the
Oh,
people
yeah.
who are going to fuel my world.
Cody, what's the one thing that you guys found that you could implement today that increases your business?
Yeah. So, of course, as you know, Barry, Caleb's really big with videos on Facebook. And one thing I got from Mo in the admin group was talking about weekly market reports. I get the weekly market report every week from STL, and I want to start incorporating that. So every Friday I come in, first thing I do, it's one thing I focus on, get the market report for the day or for the week. And then come up with a video and have Caleb talk about it first thing Monday morning, talk about a feature open house, talk about a feature house that's about to go live on Tuesday. That's what we said. Every house goes live on Tuesday, no matter what. So Tuesday will be our house going live, weekend open houses, market report over the last week, and then have that go each and every week. So we keep our database, keep Caleb's database, keep my database, and everybody else on the team keep that up to date on what's happening, because in a blink of an eye, like we've seen it in the last, I don't feel like I've been, it's crazy. I don't feel like I've been in real estate this long already, but in the blink of an eye, real estate can change like that.
Right.
1 week we're down in listings and we had maybe 5 listings on the board and our one side was full of buyers. Now we had to make extra lines for all of our listings that we have coming. So, I mean, it can flip at a blink of an eye and you have no idea. So I think the market report, weekly market report would be something huge to add to our systems.
Cody, you make an excellent point there. You had to add extra lines for the listings coming on the market, right? We're coming from years of shortages in inventory. This is how fast it can move to a buyer's market. I'm not saying it is for you guys, but that's how quickly it can move. And you have to be able to play where the market is going as well as where it's at.
Absolutely.
One of the big things that I took away that you could implement right away was, number one, I need to increase my digital footprint. And we've all talked about it, right? And it's because we are transitioning to a digital world. And because even when Facebook and Google were on, they were talking about customers, right? And customers are not necessarily loyal anymore. They'll try a new brand because you have a product or service that they're willing to use that's convenient for them. And so that told me my business model needed to change some. And then the other one is the leverage of systems processes. Gary Keller's right out of the MREA book, is 3 levels of leverage are processes and systems and technology and people. And the one thing that I realized is I didn't have processes documented in place, ready to go. And I heard that from an agent who was producing, it was on one of the breakout sessions. She was producing 20 some odd million a year. Went from 8 to 24 million in 1 year because she started implementing processes and was able to do repeatable. And I'm thinking, well, heck, I want to go down that road. So it was a matter of figuring out those processes and documenting and following the same thing every single time.
Yeah.
So,
and to be honest, Barry, you guys have an advantage in that department being in Southern Illinois, because you're not in a very high, it's not a high price point, right? We're not seeing California $1 million is the average price point.
That's correct. It's 170,000 is the average price in the area.
Yep.
Right. If you want to make a living off of this, if you just want to even get to full time, you have to put together a system. The MREA was actually built to ensure that agents in any market, regardless of price point or population, can get to net $1 million. And we've seen it. In fact, most of our unit leaders across the company aren't from the major metro areas.
Yeah, I noticed that, but it was so cool just sitting there listening to, hey, look, my business went threefold just because I started implementing systems and processes, and I'm able to take 2 weeks vacation a year, or 3 weeks vacation, or 4 weeks vacation because I have a process and a system in place.
Yeah, the business runs when you're not there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's the problem I run into as a solo agent. I want to take 2 weeks to go on vacation with my family, my business dies for 2 weeks. And that means, 60 days from now, there's 2 weeks where nothing's happening because I took a 2 week vacation. So 2 weeks turns into 4 weeks, really.
Yeah, you gotta make it from 2 weeks you were gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So that was really eye opening for me. And it was pretty cool when I was in the breakout, and then I was able to watch the comments. Then I was able to have some sidebar conversations and texts with some agents that are suffering and seeing the same issues I am. So that was really cool. And I like that. So did either of you attend Mo's motivational session?
And
I did not.
I never miss it. It is probably the most valuable session of any of these major conventions.
And for Lana, if you're listening, can you jump on? Because I want you to jump into this one too, if you've got a second. What'd you guys get out of it? What's your takeaway?
Sometimes the biggest generosity we have is listening to someone else's story, right? Understanding, the pain they've been through, the things they've had to face that you maybe have not, to understand how we got to this point, and, how we can move further, how we can move along the path towards equity. And so I love just like how in-depth Mo went with that, with the group where we added the E to the Y4C 2 T's.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I kind of cried a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Yeah,
it was that powerful.
I was moved. I'm a big fan of Mo anyway, and have been for a couple of years. Just hearing her story and understanding where she's coming from. But that presentation was phenomenal. And again, when we open it up for questions, I'm sure that other people are going to ask and want to talk about that as well. Cody, were you able to watch?
That one I was not able to watch. I need to go back and watch it if it's still live.
Yeah, it is. 60 days. It's up.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Still go watch it. But I tell you what, it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the admin one I listened in on, was through Mo Williams, and I absolutely loved it. That's where I got that idea from. So yeah, definitely go back and listen to that.
Yeah, definitely. If you get the opportunity, sit back and watch it. And do it. I would highly recommend you do it in the morning before you get too much going on in the world, and it will change your entire day
for the better. Like,
it's definitely something. I wish I would have known that today. It's something I need. I got some awful news this morning, but yeah, definitely going to listen to that tomorrow morning to kick it back up.
Yeah, that'll motivate you if nothing else will. So Cody, hey, give me your big aha at a mega camp.
So as my first one, of course, I would love for it to be in person. I love being in person. I was with O'Reilly Auto Parts, and our big convention was right before COVID broke out. And being in person and learning so much with them was great. But I think my biggest aha was listening to Gary's speech at the beginning, talking about the COVID and the numbers, and then listening to Mo in the admin section of hers for the weekly market reports would have definitely be my biggest aha from the entire Meg camp.
Okay. Mike, what was yours, bud? Because I know you took like 75 pages of notes over 3 days.
Yeah. It almost felt transcripty at some point, but this is how I get things to register in my brain. The biggest aha I got was like, be ready for not just a marathon, but like an Ironman triathlon with this. This will test the models and systems you've built your life on and you've built your business on. Mm-hmm. So, if you're struggling, reach out and ask for help for somebody. It seemed, I saw that come up in a couple threads where, there was one agent who, I think it's Haro out of South Carolina, who has this massive mega team, a Gary top 50 team, and he lost money that year. And he had to like figure out himself in order for his business to really start to take off again. And I saw that pop up in Mo's session. There was, what was her name? I think it was Kayla. She attended the Quantum Leap for Kids and used it to break her family's cycle of poverty, because she was able to like figure out who she is and how she operates as a person. Yeah.
I saw the lost money, the guy to South Carolina, where he was a mega team and lost money, and that just my jaw dropped. You know, it was wow. Anybody can lose money in this business.
Yeah. The scary thing is, most people with a high volume number do not have a high profit number. Right? Just because you have the GCI doesn't mean you're making money.
Right. Right. And that's where that budget models and systems come in.
Mhm.
Yep. So if someone didn't attend Mega Camp, do you recommend that they participate in family reunion if it's in the same format?
Yeah, absolutely. It was really nice to be able to like bounce between sessions and not have to worry about like sprinting across the convention center. Like I
Yeah.
seriously wear like my Air Jordans, so I know I'm comfortable while I'm running because they're like KW red and they look pretty sharp. But it's a long, exhausting day whether you're on your feet or not.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's really nice. Pro tip: get a second monitor so you can watch on one side, take notes on the other.
Yep.
And then that way you can stay totally focused, right? Like we haven't been able to give you that much value for your training dollar before in the history of Keller Williams.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I would highly recommend that anybody, especially if it's in this format, in this same cost, price point, same cost area, um, jump on it and do it. I mean, I really, really want to go to Vegas. I mean, obviously it's at Mandalay Bay, and it's in February, and that's like my favorite time of year to be in Vegas. But if I can't do Vegas, yeah, you probably need to do it in this format, and I highly, highly recommend that everybody attend this because it was really interesting how you can still communicate and be a part of it and feel like you're a part of it. We just have to be a little creative.
Yeah.
You know, I one group, and many of you know Erica Lawrence, her market center down in Fort Worth. They actually rented a movie theater, and as a market center, they took part in Mega Camp at a movie theater. Um, they watched Gary Keller's speech, and they had popcorn, and they had their vendors bring lunch, and really turned it into an event. And I tell you what, that was fat. That was great to watch. Then you see people like with Cody and Caleb's team. They went and did it as a team building experience. The leadership team in the office, we did it in the training room, right? We separated and watched it in the training room. I was happy that I could sit and watch the breakout sessions in my bunny slippers or whatever, sitting here at the house. That was amazing. Yeah, see,
Oh yeah, all
Mike's
about that
on it.
slipper game.
But yeah, no, I think it's a big deal to go ahead and do this. If we have to do Mega Camp virtually, let's figure out and do something creative, and make it an event.
Yeah, I agree. And no matter what, it's still a learning experience. You're always going
Yeah.
to get something out of it, whether you're in person or not.
Yeah.
And you're still able to network. That's a really big thing. You're able to network with people across the country virtually. And
Yeah.
it might not be in person. I've never been to family reunion. I was supposed to go this past year, but the money didn't work out. But and I've always learned just to network with people, no matter what, no matter where you're at. My mom's been KW since 06, 08. So learning from her and seeing what her experience with family reunion, and now that it's virtual, she said she's learned a whole lot more, especially now that she can go back and rewatch the videos that she's missed because we're all busy. From one moment we're in the office doing a listening presentation with somebody over Zoom, and the next moment we're out in public doing a showing 20 minutes later. So yeah, I agree with definitely should move forward with the family reunion online, as much as I would love to be in Vegas in February as well.
Yeah.
Right. I'm getting married in February, so I don't know if it'll be able to happen this year, but definitely be something cool to have over the internet, because a lot of people, like KW Marquis had record-breaking attendance.
Yeah, 50%. Like, kudos, guys. That doesn't happen without really strong leadership around you.
Mm-hmm.
They cared that much that they made sure you were in the room that could change your life.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And a lot of the panelists, they look back on like these family reunion and mega camp events as like, that's the moment my business went from here to here.
Mm-hmm. I'm already seeing some results, increasing the digital footprint and putting in those processes and systems. I'm already seeing results. And it's just because I attended Mega Camp and the AHA hit. So I'm going to go off script for just a second. I'm going to ask you guys, The vendor fair. Were you able to go into the vendor hall virtually and attend?
I did. It was very eye-opening.
It was, to me, it was a little different, right? Because the vendors are fun people, and being having to watch a presentation that was recorded a week prior for a lot of those guys, and having them on, it was a learning experience for them, and I understand that. I think that's an area that we could improve on. I do.
Yeah, it was very easy to tell who is prepared for a digitally based environment and who is not.
Yeah, I saw that. There were a couple of vendors that I was listening to them argue online with their headsets on, trying to grab customers or communicate with customers. And they didn't know how to do it. So, they were brick and mortar, and they were trying to do it virtually. So I think that's an area of improvement. And I think even potentially if KWRI were to do some training with those vendors ahead of time,
They did,
would be,
by the way.
oh, okay. They'd be much more prepared.
Yep,
So-
there were several who did not attend, and I think those companies have learned their lesson on being prepared to operate in the platform.
Yeah, that was the one area of improvement that I could see is in that vendor area, that there needed to be something to allow them to communicate better, somehow.
Yeah, and then that's a tough cookie to crack. So we're
Oh, it
gonna let them figure that out.
That's right, and that's I mean, if because we've critiqued it, right, and I mean it was positive, 99% positive. And I wouldn't even say that the vendor area was negative. I would just say if there's an area for improvement, it would probably be that vendor area.
Yeah. Yeah. So there were also KW technology booths that were part of that.
Mhm.
And I thought they did that really well.
I do too.
Like the people asked questions, they could bring them on screen, and then they showed how to do it in this person's profile.
Right.
They were doing live active demos, which I thought
Yeah.
was really cool.
Yeah, and I had another vendor actually do a live demo for me. I was able to give them the information that they wanted, and so then they were producing right there. So, or providing that information to me on the fly.
Yeah, a lot of people learn like that firsthand, one-on-one experience. If you see it, like I'm a seer, and I can do it with a blink of an eye right afterwards. So if someone shows me how to do it, I can plan it in my head, and you can see it on paper, and you can do it yourself.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So our market center had one of the highest attendance in the region. I mean, we've talked about that a couple of times. But we still had a lot of agents that didn't attend. I mean, we were at 50, so that means 50% of the agents didn't go. How and what should we disseminate to the agents who were unable to attend? What was, if we had to pick 2 or 3 items from Mega Camp that we wanted every agent to have, in your opinion, what would those be, Cody?
I'm glad you're going first. I got to think on this one.
I know.
I even had the questions ahead of time, and I'm still totally sad.
Oh, I'm the same way, Mike. Man, I still keep falling back to Gary's speech. Coming from the number one brokerage in the world, and hearing our founder talk about our market and talk about where we're going, and he can see where it's going. I feel like that'd be something good for people to see firsthand, because not a lot of brokerages do that. They don't have their founder come on TV or come on a big mega camp and do an introduction of how things are going, where it's shifted to, and where it's potentially maybe shifting again, and what to prepare for, and how we can prepare ourselves as a brokerage to beat the curve, right? We want to get ahead of it, and to do that, you have to fall forward, right? And one thing, like with my questions over here, like a good way to increase or get more people to attend, even though we had that 50% attendance, is do something for free. If they bring someone on, have someone, it'd be completely covered by charge. They bring someone from a different brokerage, not with KW. So they bring it from Cobalt at Gundicker, or bring it from Remax, and they bring that person to Mega Camp. They pay for both admissions as a great learning experience for everybody. And that was something for me that I would 100% push for. And I tried to get somebody, a really good friend of mine that I go tailgating at Mizzou with. He's with Colwell, and I tried to talk to him about it. I didn't really get a response back, but I wanted him to attend because I know he's a newer agent, and it would have benefited him to see what we do and how we do things, because I've tried to get him with KW multiple times. But it's you know how it is with brokerages. They like to go back and forth on who they like more. Yeah, that was a big thing I feel like would really bring someone to Nate camp or to a family unit, is just hearing what Gary has to say, because he always has something. I mean, listening to him during the first bold shift we had was phenomenal. And that was the first bold that I've attended. And I definitely will not be my last one. But hearing what he had to say during that week, or what was it, a month? Yeah, sorry, it was a month.
4 weeks.
Yeah, listen to that twice a week it changed my life forever, honestly. So.
Okay. All right, Mike. I bought you time, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Actually, Cody bought you time,
Yeah.
buddy.
Cody, I owe you $5.
That sounds good.
Number one, no one is powerless in their position to take action. I don't care if you're the newest admin on a team or if you just got into real estate, right? The models, the systems, and just what we operate on culturally can change the community just by you taking action, right? There's a history of a lot of talk from a lot of agents in Keller Williams. If there's one thing that shows up, is that everybody in Mega Camp took action on those ideas, right? They got to work, right? Whether it was for their business, whether it was, hey, make me part of the social equity task force, right? They jumped in. So I think first and foremost is that if you're delaying just because it's not perfect, go for it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The second thing is, starting with a strong foundation and then getting to the creativity later. Right. So I noticed a lot of people on the panel started with creativity and then they went back to the foundation, rebuilt that.
I saw that too.
And then they learned the rules so well, they could break them like an artist, but they only could break the rules because they knew them. Right.
Yep.
This is what makes, this is what makes improv comedy so great, is they know the rules and they know when to break them. They know when not to.
Yeah.
And then, the other thing is, like, if you don't have a digital footprint, it's time to put some shoes on.
Absolutely.
Like, you are late to the game. You can catch up in the race here. You can catch up to the pack, but if you don't, you will be left behind. Your business will be shut down just by market decision. Yeah.
Yeah. I tell you what, one of the big takeaways I had too was when Google and Facebook said people like to broadcast that they're in business with us, but we'll tell you that we're in business with you.
Yeah.
That was huge to me. I'm like, okay, well, I wonder how many people they say that to. So yeah, that was eye-opening to me, and that's something that I would love to disseminate to everybody, because obviously if you're talking about, we talk about Keller Williams being number one. I would love some marketing material that says, people say that they're in business with Facebook and Google, but Facebook and Google say they're in business with us.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. You have the largest real estate company on the planet.
Yep.
And you have the world's largest internet data company on the planet with the most information about what exists in everybody's world.
Yep.
And you have the largest social data company on the planet. They partner with us because they want to keep the real estate agent the center of the transaction.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, that would be the one thing, and I wish on my wish list of things is that KWRI would publish a marketing campaign that says that. I mean,
Why couldn't you?
I can't. I was going to say I do. I put it into my listing presentation, into my buyer consult. It's, people question it, really. Well, absolutely.
Yeah, show them the video.
That's right. And that's exactly that. May be another thing that needs to be disseminated to agents so that they hear it for themselves.
Yeah. If you're still doing a paper listing presentation, it's time to upgrade.
Yeah, nope, I'm not.
Yeah, it has to be an experience online
Yep.
that feels authentic to you.
Mhm.
I think that was another big thing that I'm not sure a lot of people caught, is that the authenticity of your online footprint matters, right? Email newsletters are dead. In fact, every inbox is working against you in that, because it'll either
100%.
throw it directly in spam or you're going straight to the promotions tab. If
Yep.
it looks like marketing, it's going into junk,
Mhm.
right? And so the most effective, digital touch plans are authentic to the sender and the audience, which means you can't have the same touch for everybody anymore.
100%.
I agree. Yeah, I do. Wow,
I mean,
that was like huge. You just said that, Mike.
yeah. I mean, I bet if we compared Netflix feeds, mine would have way more nature documentaries than your guys' does.
Mine's still with Disney.
Yeah, right. Because it knows because it has started to curate
Hmm.
to what you consider valuable in there.
Right.
Yep.
Right. And every one of your clients is going to consider different aspects of what you do and how you do it. They're going to perceive that value differently. So you have to have that lens ready for them.
Yep. No, I got it. And you know what? That customer experience. That was another one that was a big takeaway for me. That whole customer experience.
Yeah, I with the whole digital marketing, I know that we were talking about emails, and I'm signed up with somebody on my previous team because she wanted to run a test, and each week, I get a market update for my area, the neighborhood snaps, which I love because it's ran through the command, and it shows you a breakdown of everything happening in your neighborhood, not just homes for sale, but things going on.
Mhm.
And it's partnered with Nextdoor. Correct me if I'm wrong.
That's correct.
Yeah, so if it's partnered with that, I'm on both apps and I get the weekly updates of what's happening. And I think that's a really good touch that people can add into their nurture follow-ups with their database and implement that. I know it's an email thread. Of course, it'd be something that you follow up on. You send that weekly thing, and then a couple of days later, you follow up on them via phone call.
Yeah, Cody, you hit it right. You hit it right on the nail. All you're after is a response.
Yep.
That's correct.
I think we lost him.
Right. So you have to meet. Oh, I'm back. I
Yeah.
see you guys.
Yep, you're good.
You're good.
It's funny right now. You kind of look like a ninja.
Right? I know so in our market center, we're so good.
Yeah, we're good.
We're good.
There you are.
Maybe.
There you are, Mike. Sort of. All right, folks. While we bring Mike back, I'm going to open it up. We're going to take probably 5 questions. If you have a question you want to ask Mike, because he's probably going to pop right back on, or you can ask Cody, or you can ask me. But the floor is open for the next couple minutes for you to ask any question that you may have.
I'm back.
Oh,
Yes,
hello.
you are. Welcome back, Mike.
Okay. Sorry, not sure what happened there.
Or if you want to have input, to anything that we've said or something that you took away from Mega Camp, we're gonna, here's your opportunity.
Hey, Bear, it's Lana.
That's what I was
How's
hoping.
everybody?
I was hoping one young lady named Lana would jump on.
Yeah, of course I am. I mean, it is not a call if Lana doesn't participate. No, I'm just joking.
No.
So I don't have a question, but I do have some things that I want to share. Things being just a couple. This was my first Mega Camp. I was completely blown away at the experience. I've, of course, never been to it in person. But one thing that I could appreciate was the fact that there were thousands of sessions, not thousands, but there were tons of sessions that I wanted to attend that were happening at the same time. And because of the change in the format this year, I was able to go back and see some of those where I think I wouldn't have been able to do that in person. So that was huge, like mind blowing. As Mike mentioned earlier, to Mo's well, let me back up. So I was working, if you guys don't know, I'm dual career, and I saw a portion of Gary's presentation, but I didn't get to catch it all. So when I tried to go back to see it, I didn't see Gary's video listed as one that was available to see. I think the slides were still out there, but I don't remember seeing the video. So I only caught half of that, but the half that I saw was amazing because, I mean, it was, to Cody's point, here is our CEO, I mean, top guy, explaining where he thinks the market is going and just the things he's saying. So I'm very intrigued with Gary. I think he's one of the smartest people that are out there, just period. So that was another takeaway. And the biggest one, I think, for me that left me with my to-dos was when Jay, and I know I'm going to forget the guy's name, but he's the director over The One Thing. When they
Jay Papazan, yeah.
There you go. When they did their last session, and it was kind of hands-on, but just having you think through how do you time block your day? What are the things that you're doing to make sure that you're focused on the one thing to get you to that end result? Like that was my biggest takeaway. And I'm so glad that I sat down and watched that video and had that experience. It literally has me like taking off ground running on social media presence. It was so many things, but it made me focus on what are the 3 things that I'm taking away from this event and making sure that I implement those going forward. And those are the things that I think I'm working on right now. So I'm glad I had the experience.
Well, thanks, Verlana. That's actually how you get value from these events, right? You take the nuggets that you were just missing, that one little piece, and then use it to propel forward.
That's right. That's right. Anybody else? Well, outstanding. Cody, Mike, I appreciate you.
Thank you.
I appreciate you taking time.
Thank you for the invite. This is always fun.
Yeah, to be on one of these panels. We do these every month. First Monday of every month, we pick a topic and we have a conversation. And it's an honest conversation. Shannon, do you have anything you want to add? Okay. So again,
Mike, I would love, sorry, go ahead, Barry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would love to hear what Michael's going to say about my neighborhood snap that we were just right before you got cut off.
Oh, how I got cut off? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I consider that one of the core foundations for a successful 36 touch program that's digitally based, because each neighborhood is specific to the individual user, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting their own curated, essentially Netflix feed of what matters to them in real estate, which reminds them, oh, okay, so Cody really does know my neighborhood because he knows I'm interested here, and here's the new stuff coming up. Here's the open houses. Great. So it's because people are like, we live here. Let's be real, right? More of your touches have to be here at a higher volume than they were in the past. This is how we got from 33 to 36, is because you're competing for digital attention now. So there's 2 smart plans that are the foundation to your 36 touch. There's the biweekly neighborhood nurture.
Just get her info. I'll call her back as soon as this is over. They're
Okay,
almost
Kate,
done,
I can do that.
Oops, sorry, guys.
It's always fun to do that. So there's no, you're good. So there's the biweekly neighborhood nurture, which gets you in their inbox. Many people have a push notification for that, right? The other piece, and this is the most important, is that quarterly phone call. People still buy houses. My room was not going under contract anytime soon. So it takes connection. And all you're after with the 36 touch program is a response to keep the conversation going.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So there's 30 of your 36 touches done for you. You only have to come up with 6 that are authentically you. That's it. If you do client events, cool. Invite, the event itself, and then the follow-up. Repeat twice. And then hold events for specific audiences, right? So then everybody has their own version of the highest value from you, if you're going the events route. Or, you could send out baseball schedules next year, but you have to follow up with how do they respond, right? What's the natural response back? Hey, post this on social media using this hashtag. tag me in it, and you'll be entered in to win Cardinals tickets,
Perfect.
right?
Yeah.
Because if you allow other people to tell your story, you win.
Yep.
Another good one to use would be like a koozie. And for the summertime, I know a lot of people spend. I know here in this area, right there, perfect. A lot of people in this area, they spend a lot of the time like the Ozarks. A good touch there is you send out your koozie, a branded koozie, to your database, and then you post and say, hey, take a picture of you drinking out of your koozie at your location and tell me how your weekend's going. That's another touch. It's a good way to have your name out there, and a good way to be in contact with your SOI throughout the year.
Yeah, that'd be an awesome contest. Hey, this month, whoever posts, we're going to draw one person who posted the koozie, and we're going to give them a set
Another
of
koozie.
a Yeti wine glasses, right?
Perfect.
You
Like
get
those
another
little
koozie.
interaction points, right? And you stuff the other koozie in the Yeti,
There you go.
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So you want to make sure whatever your touches are, you can track them to a specific ROI, right? So what does it cost you? Cody, you probably know this. Barry, I'm sure you do too. What is the cost to send out a biweekly neighborhood nurture?
Your time.
Your
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Okay. How quickly can you add everybody in your database to a neighborhood nurture?
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
Pretty quick. Okay.
A couple minutes apiece.
Okay.
Yep.
So how long is that? Like an hour? Half an hour?
Everybody in database, I would probably say a little, depending on how many people you have. Like I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky, so most of my database is based out of Louisville. So I would say my database here would probably take me around an hour, depending if I have everybody's address. And a good touch would be calling them and getting their address.
Yep.
For that.
And that's a valuable touch. That's how you're able to make the budget model, is by being connected. It is prospecting based, marketing enhanced. Right?
Yep.
So yeah, it is just your time. Right? These are the foundation pieces you need to set.
Yeah. Take a day or two out of the week and actually do it.
Yeah.
Get back to fundies. And that's one thing, we talked about during Mega Camp, or I heard during Mega Camp, is, and you mentioned it earlier, Mike, was get away from creativity. Go back to what got you here.
Yeah. This is the fundamentals, right? And, if we go back to baseball, right? Cardinals need to get back to the Cardinal way if they're going to be consistent contenders. They've gotten away from it, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right? They've tried to get creative.
Yeah.
In fact, other teams have copied the Cardinal way. We called it the Cub way, and it worked. We won a championship out of it, and then we got creative. Right?
Yep. You're not lying. Sometimes the truth hurts.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Hey.
A little bit.
Thanks,
No.
Mike.
Hey,
Ruined
that's
my
it.
Monday, buddy.
Oh, come on. We're sliding faster. Right.
No. Hey, with that, guys, I appreciate your time. Appreciate you being on here. I hope this was helpful, everybody that attended. I hope you got something out of it.
Yeah.
And we'll be doing another one first week of November with a new set of panelists. Mike, you are invited to attend any of our masterminds that you want. First Monday of every month. Jump on.
All
I have
right.
a question.
Yeah.
When do we know if anything from Family Reunion or Mega Camp will be made available to the public?
There's some of the bigger general sessions will be posted on KW Connect, but don't expect any of the breakouts to be available if you didn't sign up and pay for a ticket. Now, the good news
No.
is you can still get a ticket and have access to those videos through the end of the 60 days.
I just mean in the way that we're not supposed to be disseminating any of the sessions. So I was wondering if any of them will go out for public distribution, if anyone knows.
I can find out. I wouldn't expect much, to be honest, because this is kind of our, this is our big
I'm
event for the
thinking
year.
in the way of sharing with partners, from other agencies that, might be talking to us.
So those market update slides, those are shareable, and that alone will get you that conversation started because their brokerage does not do that. I've tried to recreate it locally. Unless they have a research team at their disposal, they're copying off of somebody else's notes.
Right. Okay. That's what I thought. I just wondered if anything was going to come out publicly.
So a great script around that is like, hey, we just had our national convention and I want to share what I heard from the top agents in the industry on what's going on. Do you have a couple minutes? And then they'll either answer yes or no. It's worked for me. I've gotten 2 appointments out of that. I don't even recruit.
Nice.
You can send those to me.
Awesome.
I'm test piloting something. We're good. I'll get to the entire state soon.
There we go. All right. With that, everybody have a great day. Let's make it a great week. Let's go change somebody's life.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Thank you.